Hey gamers, Sam here at Mahalo HQ with a review of Beyond Good and Evil HD. A fancy re-edition of the classic platformer from Ubisoft, coming in at a sweet 800 Microsoft points. Or $10 if you don't speak Gates. When originally released in 2003, Beyond Good and Evil was critically acclaimed by members of the press and loved by adoring fans over the world. Those fans, however, were in a very small community of gamers, as Beyond Good and Evil debuted into a marketplace crowded with similar PC platform games. Perhaps due to this poor timing, its strong-willed but unboobalicious female main character, or its rather obscure, deliberately ambiguous title, Beyond Good and Evil underperformed and failed to catch much of the public's attention. Its fanbase, though small, is loud enough to prompt the recently released HD version on Xbox Live Arcade.
The player controls the character Jade, a reporter on a small mining planet called Hillis, in a cartoonish but lavishly rendered environment.
The Doms! They're attacking!
A war rages on planet Hillis between the Doms, an alien race with mysterious motives, and the Alpha Sections, a militant private army that arrived on Hillis to fight the Doms. But as the player explores the world and uncovers the truth, a horrible conspiracy unfolds, showing the truth between the Alpha Sections and their seemingly hostile adversaries. To accomplish this, the player must sneak through various Alpha Section areas, avoiding detection and fighting off enemies when necessary. The player's main weapon is a camera, using it to document incriminating footage and publishing it to the public in order to topple the corrupt regime. The gameplay shifts from one style to another, from hovercraft races to space combat to arcade games. It's no small task to aid an uprising, and the game's striking message comes right out of the Cold War and is relevant to today's instant-on-demand media attention to wars around the globe. The line between reporting and spreading propaganda is a fuzzy and dangerous one, and Beyond Good and Evil is at its best when walking confidently across it.
You could help us to save these people, Jade. Nino.
This is incredibly noticeable when considering that, on first glance, it appears stylishly cartoonish and childish. After all, your main companion in the game is a talking bacon slab.
Jade, smells like a trap. It's too dangerous.
But despite talking animals and some rather cheesy dialogue, the game's story is one of the most involving in game history, partially due to the lush world of Hillis.
While the world may feel small, especially compared to more modern games, Beyond Good and Evil succeeds in quality over quantity. The world is lush, it feels lived in, and it's fun to explore.
It's one of the few games where I personally find myself wanting to become part of the world I'm playing. I would totally live in Hillis, with its beautiful scenery, its exciting hover races, and its cozy Akuta bar.
Hi, Jade.
Even with the whole evil, child kidnapping, alien regime stuff.
I could live with that, because kids frighten me.
I do have to admit, the game is aged. Perhaps not in its message, but in its mechanics. The puzzles are overly simplistic and often involve moving blocks and shifting beams of light, recalling the dead platform art form of years past. The combat is often frustrating due to a very limited range of attacks the player can have, and the most grievous offense falls on the camera, often the most bitter of the player's enemies. And yet, despite any of this, the game is otherwise so polished, so charming to experience, and so much fun, it's no wonder that despite the lackluster performance it originally had almost a decade ago, that its creators would re-release it again today. In fact, the biggest flaw in Beyond Good and Evil HD is how short and limited an experience it winds up to be. I want more Hillis to explore, I want more conspiracies to uncover, and I want more talking walruses to sell me stuff. Perhaps if this reissue performs well enough, we may be treated to the sequel Ubisoft hinted at years ago. But that's probably only wishful thinking. Even still, many younger gamers with short attention spans will be turned off by the game's short runtime and may not feel it worthy of the $10 price tag. But they will be missing an important and classic lesson in simple, straightforward game design and a truly wonderful experience. With the current gaming market flooded with gritty, overly serious, testosterone-injected military junk, it's such a welcome joy to play a game where, yes, my best friend is a talking pigman with jet boots.
And I'm okay with that. I give Beyond Good and Evil HD a 4 out of 5.